Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is the last day's battle has begun. Now, if you have not called 800-200 gold, and if you have a pile of money someplace in paper, be that stock market, IRA, 401k, or maybe just under your mattress someplace, I think you're in dangerous territory. But I can't give financial advice, so I'll send you to those that can. 800-200 gold. 800-200 4653. Second thing, the show has begun. End times have arrived, or the trouble is here. Now, I'm not ready to say the tribulation has started yet, as you know, but it's close. Okay, let me go back and refresh your memory on this. This is my summary of it. I think the one thing that is circled here is the one really, really big thing. See, we love our Constitution, we Americans. We don't want to see it go, but just let me pose another idea for you. The devil has been against the Constitution since it was written almost 250 years ago, but his people have figured out ways, just like the right to remain silent, right to have an attorney. You have to have a search warrant in order to search people's houses and search a person. So the devil has used our good laws that are really designed for Christians against us. And so consequently, a lot of bad people are able to exist just underneath the radar of the Constitution and our laws. You might say that they squeeze between the cracks. Well, in order for there to be a real cleaning of our nation, you'd have to do away with a lot of those laws temporarily. That's what I think is about to happen. And it may be about to happen as fast as this year. I'm even going to go out on a limb, maybe even in the next 30 days. Now, let me go back and refresh your memory. This is really important. So, my summarized version of You Be Ready's vision, the show has begun, says this. He saw a large ring with clowns amusing the crowd. Isn't that what the devil has been doing with us, with all of our ball games and TV and the movies? He's been keeping us amused so that we wouldn't be working against him. Then he saw a bear, representing Russia, a large leopard, representing the Muslims, and a parrot. And when we see people in these protests and someone walks up with a microphone and they say, well, why are you protesting? Why do you say from the river to the sea? What does that mean? And I don't know. They don't even know. They just bat their eyes. They don't understand. They've just been told what to do, where to show up, and they get their paycheck. In other words, they're parroting what they hear on CNN and the other godless places. Then he saw Jesus' angel ripping pages out of the Constitution, setting them on fire. That is the big, look at that. That's the big prophecy that says our Constitution is going bye-bye. Now, I want to believe that it's only temporary. And after the evildoers have been removed, and I'm about to talk about that, hopefully it comes back. But there's some of the things that are used to protect evil people, in my opinion, need to be changed. Okay, just like, for example, I think they need, I'll just tell you, I cannot tell you how many times talking to the TV, my wife Leslie hears me say, they got to bring back the capital punishment. They got to do it, okay? There's just not enough threat in, oh, you'll have to be taken care of. You have to be locked up, and we're going to feed you and take care of you for the rest of your life, all your medical, everything else. We're going to put you in a nice prison for the rest. It's just, there's not enough fear in that for some people, in my humble opinion. Okay, then he saw clowns pouring on gasoline. On what? Clowns pouring gasoline on the Constitution. In other words, this prophecy says the Constitution is going away. The bear knocked the book out of the ringmaster's hand. People cheered, thinking it was a show. So Apparently, when this Constitution is replaced and a lot of our bad guys gets rounded up, a lot of people don't understand just how serious it is. The parrot was people who had just repeated what they'd heard. Boy, and haven't they? First, monitor had scenes of war without bombs. That's where we are now. We're having war, but without bombs. Wait a minute, what about Israel, Gaza? Well, that's not in America. But is America at war? Well, right now we're mostly in a tariff war, but more is coming. Second, there was war with bombs exploding, fires burning. That's my opinion, probably the suitcase nukes. And in my opinion, I know a lot of people forgot about all that, but I think that's a big mistake. I think we're getting real close to those suitcase nukes. Third, people running for their lives. As you recall, Pastor Massey saw that there was basically 5 things, and I don't have it pulled up, so I'm not going to cover it because I don't want to say something wrong, but he saw that there was the very last one was people running for their lives in order to live. Now, here's the big thing. Then the ringmaster destroyed all 3. The tent went black. That's Jesus returning. Sun goes out, and then the blinding light is the morning star from Jesus using the breath of his nostrils, brandished his sword. The angel shouted with power and authority of Jesus Christ, I tell you now, the show has begun. I think this is one of the most powerful messages, warnings, explanations to us about what's coming. Now, what does it really say? It really says that all of these end time things have started. And I don't know that the last 7-year tribulation started, but the end time thing, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out, okay? Matter of fact, it doesn't even take a prophecy student to figure that out. The next thing is the Constitution gone, set on fire. Then the war without bombs, war with bombs, and then finally people running for their lives, Jesus returns. So that's a good overview between now and Armageddon, really. Now, let me refresh your memory. We've covered this many times, but I want to cover it in more detail today. I have 38, I counted them up, 38 prophecies that say suitcase nukes will be used on America. And if you haven't got one of these, from EMPShield.com, I highly recommend you get one. EMPShield.com, if you use the promo code prophecy, it gets you a $50 discount on every one of them, okay? Anyway, then I've got 17 prophecies that say that a meteor will cause a tsunami and cause an earthquake, and the reason is because we split Israel. I know a lot of people want to look at the whole Israel-Gaza thing and say, that's all solved. Well, even Israel is saying that until Hamas gives up their weapons, it's not over. And they haven't given up their weapons yet. It's not over. Next thing is food shortage. You've got 17 of them that say a food shortage is coming. And in my opinion, I think it starts Monday, November 1. Then we got 13 that says the dollar is going to fall. There's more. So I'm going to cover some of these today. We're going to talk about just how close we are to these last days. All right, first of all, I think I might be the only one that's saying this. If you've heard it from other places, I'd be surprised. What we're looking at is a new republic, a new flag, a new name, a new constitution, a new financial system. Wipe the slate clean, start over, and that may start Monday, as in November 1. I do not know that for certain, but as a watchman, let's watch. Let's see if that's what comes. Okay, next topic is suitcase nukes. I got 38 prophecies that says this is coming. Now, for example, you remember the drones here back, back in January? And if you remember, they had red and green lights. Well, if they were foreign drones, why would they go to the trouble of following our laws that says you have to have a red and green light on an aerial item? They wouldn't. They were ours. As you recall, they were observing our laws. I believe they're our drones. They were only seen at night. They were seen both east and west coasts, and then everything went quiet. I think that the suitcase nukes hidden back in the 1980s were unsealed. Recently installed radiation detectors began detecting and sounding. Drones sent up to find radiation leakage, but couldn't find the source. Why? Because it's the Moloch and Baal worshippers that owned them, had them made for them, moved them in. And look, I've got lots of proof on these suitcase nukes, but I don't have time to cover it all today. But anyway, my guess is that when the white hats kill the dollar, the Federal Reserve, and take away their free money machine, they detonate them. And that may be starting as soon as November 1. God has not told me anything's going to happen on November 1. I'm just guessing. I'm just looking at the situation, okay? Who controls food supply controls the people. Who controls energy can control whole continents. Who controls money can control the world. Who said that? Henry Kissinger, spokesman for the Molochs. Which is why you want to go to empshield.com. You want to get one of these for each one of your cars, and they also make them for your house so that when nobody else's car starts, yours does. When no one else's computer starts, yours does. 17 prophecies I have saying that an earthquake is coming if we split Israel. I'm going to cover a few of them here. They have divided my land, now I'll divide their land. Shane Warren. Riots and civil unrest as citizens demand entitlement checks. An earthquake happened under my feet. Chris Reed. Riots and civil unrest as citizens demand entitlement checks. An earthquake happened under my feet. That's a repeater, sorry. Warren, you split my land, now I will split yours. That's a repeat. If they split Jerusalem, the big earthquake will split America down the middle. Snodgrass. If America wishes to divide Jerusalem in half, America shall be divided in half. Selvaraj. U.S. would turn against Israel and force Israel to split Jerusalem more. Durham. North America was divided by a large body of water and lost much of the both eastern and western coastlines. Sklar. I will divide America down the middle. Kirkpatrick. Israel belongs to the Lord, and if you divide his land, he will divide your land. Perez. If America splits my city, Jerusalem, I will split the land of America. Leslie Johnson. This is talking about a tsunami. It's 20 stories tall. Augusto Perez. Tsunami will hit the east coast of the United States, go inland from 20 to 25 miles. John Johnston. The wave was 300 foot high. Maurice Sklar. Southeastern U.S. giant tsunami. Story was, we invited Prophet Ephraim Rodriguez to come in and speak at Prophecy Club. You can watch the DVD at watchprophecyclub.com. He had been shown a vision of a large meteor hitting Mona Island, which is a deserted island just west of Puerto Rico, causing a tsunami 1,000 foot high at Puerto Rico, but will be from 200 to 400 foot high as it goes down the east coast, going inland from 20 to 100 miles. It hits an earthquake fault running up the Mississippi River Valley to the Great Lakes, splitting America with the Great Lakes all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico, and much of the west coast from California to Alaska falls into the ocean. 7 of the 9 people say that USA got split because we split America. So, pray that America does not force Israel to give the Palestinians a state, because in my opinion, that could happen in the next few months. There's a lot of people. As a matter of fact, there was 155 people in the United Nations, something like 152 of them are for splitting Israel. So America's about the only ones that's prohibiting it right now. Now let's go to the 17 prophecies about food shortage. Read this a couple of days ago. Food Administration posts notice that no federal food aid will go out November 1. They say even if they were to agree to the continuing resolution today or even Monday, they wouldn't have time to get all the checks out by then. Anyway, it goes on to say the Trump administration said would not tap roughly $5 billion in contingency funds to keep benefits flowing through the supplemental nutritional systems. In other words, all the welfare is getting cut off, just like Dimitri Duduman thought would be the cause of the internal revolution, and now here it is. 13 prophecies say the dollar is going to die. Now, I got a lot of them. I can spend a long time on it. I make a whole program here. I'm just giving you a brief overview. I think it was Coverstone, and also Terry Bennett. I think I saw the dollar go down a third, zero, and then Coverstone saw it go down 50%. So did Brandon Biggs, 50%, then to zero. Doesn't matter. They all saw it go to zero. They got three people that saw give us our entitlements. In my opinion, we're going to see those signs here this month. Dollars vacuumed from banks, Coverstone. Banks confiscating all deposits, Brandon Biggs. A bank jubilee. Gold doubled this month. That means the dollar halved this month. So, are we in that financial storm? Yes, my brothers and sisters, we are there. Massive arrests. Oh, surely not. I wish I could tell you what I know. I just got an email. I can't tell you who it's from, where it's from. All I can say is, brothers and sisters, we're about to see lots of changes. Lots of changes. Massive arrests. I've covered whole programs on this. Let me just refresh your memory. New information. Pentagon orders National Guard to establish quick reaction forces for civil unrest and riots. Oh, no. This is not just in one state. Trump has ordered this in all 50 states. Every state by January. Okay, so when does that tell you they expect trouble? I think that they're expecting their trouble starting November 1 when the welfare is cut off. And it's going to get more and more violent until by January 1, we are in our internal revolution, just like Dimitri Duduman was told. They directly involve military in responding protests and other domestic missions that have been off limits except in emergencies. As many as 500 soldiers in each state. Did you catch that? Each of the 50 states are to have 500 National Guard soldiers ready to go at a moment's notice in case of civil unrest and riots. Does that sound like an internal revolution to you? Because it does to me. 500 soldiers in each state or territory National Guard organization will be assigned to deploy in the U.S. on short notice and receive non-lethal training in crowd control, handling of detainees, and use of batons. Handling of detainees? See, this is not illegal aliens. This is out-of-control Americans. But this, in my opinion, is not part of the massive arrests. The massive arrests are going to come from senators, congressmen, bankers, big business people that have lied and broken our laws. Batons, stun guns, body shields, according to the Pentagon directives. You remember, Dimitri was told, the fall of America will start with an internal revolution in America started by the communists. Some of the people will start fighting against the government. I think we are almost there. The government will be busy with internal problems, then from the oceans. Russia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Central America, that includes Venezuela, Colombia, Mexico, and two of the countries will attack. The Russians will bomb America, and America will burn. Now, as a confirmation on that, 10/14/2001, Terry Bennett said, for a while we'll have a fractional government. The military will have to step in and seize control of our federal government. That's going to happen, my opinion, next 3 or 4 months. You'd call it a coup, but in all honesty, it'll be to help our nation. That's why the military will step in, and that's not the end of it. April 2, 2001, Jack Rigney had a dream. I saw an armored battalion of tanks, Humvees, and roof-mounted machine guns, and armored personnel carriers from cannons to the Capitol, the Supreme Court, and the White House. Army personnel disarmed all Secret Servicemen, guards, police guarding those 3 buildings. Then the Army personnel went back in all 3 different buildings and took whatever they wanted. It's not about stealing. It's about rounding up evidence. I saw the military take control over the nation to arrest the evildoers. My opinion, I'm not saying it starts in November. God has not told me when it starts, But if I had to guess, it could start. It could start as soon as November 1, which is Monday, I believe. I haven't actually. Let me just check. I think Monday is correct. Saturday, excuse me, Saturday. Okay, so yeah, it could start that soon. Now, the wrongdoers, and that's why the Constitution would have to have it. That's the way the Constitution have it done. Under certain circumstances, the military can step in to take temporary control of the nation in order to put things back in order, and that's what I saw, and that's what I think would be wonderful. But Jeremiah 51, verse 9, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let every man return into his own country. In other words, America, God is giving America right now our chance to repent. If my people called by my name will humble themselves and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, forgive their sins, and heal their land. This is our opportunity to turn around. But there's just too much evil. There's too many of the evil people do not want a Christian country. They want America to fall. So God says, got to give the people what they want. 7 prophecies, 6 chapters in the Bible say that Russia destroys America in 1 hour. It used to be that America always had the advantage when it came to military equipment. But that changed in the ballpark between 5, 10, 15 years ago. Now, some say our fighters aren't as good as their fighters. Some say our submarines, our missiles, our detection, our satellites, just about everything else is not as good. Now, if you listen to Donald Trump, he'll tell you we're the best in the world. Well, that's nice to say. But the experts will tell you that's not, and just like he said yesterday, we have the most nuclear bombs of anybody in the world. Well, that's not what the experts say. So must be getting his information in a different place. The United States has more nuclear weapons than any other country. If you want to Google that, you'll find out that statement is not in agreement with other statements. He says this was accomplished, including a complete update and renovation of existing weapons during my first term in office. I hope that's true. But, as you recall, part of the prophecy told to Dmitry is the Russians have found where America stores her nuclear weapons. And the first thing they do is hit them and take out our nuclear weapons. So hopefully all of our sea vessels are loaded to the gill with nuclear weapons at that point. My guess is they probably won't be. Because of the country's testing programs, I've instructed the Department of War to start testing our nuclear weapons on an equal basis. Means we're getting ready for war. So's Russia, and so's the other people against us, too. Trump orders immediate resumption of U.S. nuclear detonation tests. Well, that's what this was saying. It's just saying it a little bit more detailed manner. It says, Washington must test nuclear weapons for reliability and safety in the real world for the first time since 1992, not just by using computer models. If China and Russia continue to engage in good faith arms control talks, the United States should also resume production of uranium-235 and plutonium-239, the primary fissile isotopes of nuclear weapons, meaning we're getting ready for war, but I think Russia is not getting ready. I think they're already ready. They're just refining it. Blessed or cursed. If you go back to Deuteronomy 28, it tells you what a nation looks like when they've followed God. Now, I'm not going to read every word, don't have to. I think you already know. I'm just going to read some of the yellow ones. So it says, it shall come to pass that if a nation will follow my laws and observe my commandments, here's what's going to happen. These blessings shall come upon that nation. They'll be blessed in the city, blessed in the field, blessed in the fruit of the body. Right now, my 2 sons have difficulty having children. We don't know why, but they've done extensive tests trying to find out why. Blessed shalt thou be in the field, fruit of the body, fruit of the ground, fruit of the cattle, The basket at the store, blessed when you come in, blessed when you go out. Your enemies will run before you, be smitten before your face. As what happened in World War II and the Korean War. But as we began to sin, these things got to where not so good. The Lord shall command the blessing upon you in the storehouse, and all that you set your hand to do will be successful. That was true in the past. It's true to a certain degree today, but I also think you'd agree that it's not true as much today as it was 20 or 30 years ago. All people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the Lord, and they'll be afraid of you. And it used to be that America was feared. But we've seen that fear drop. It's come up since Trump's been elected, but we've seen it drop. I'll make you plenteous in goods. That's true, we are. In the body, the cattle, the ground, that's true, we are. But we also can see we can lose all of that in a day. I'm going to command the rain to be in good season. Yet, what do we see? Today we see floods, droughts, we see fires, we see droughts, we see earthquakes are coming, okay? You're going to lend and you will not borrow. Well, right now, America is the number one creditor nation in the world, $37 trillion in debt. So I think God is saying he's keeping his end of the promise, but America is not keeping our end of the deal. The Lord shall make thee head and not the tail. You should be above only and not beneath. So, let me ask for your support. I mentioned it yesterday, and to my knowledge, we got no support today. So, there's a thing coming up. I can't tell you. Prophecy Club makes, I'll just say it this way. We make a very large donation to a homeless, I guess I can tell you that, a homeless ministry. And we've been doing this every month for 25 years, every month. And right now, I got an email from our bookkeeper, and she said, we don't have the money. And I said, no, we have to have the money. Go ahead and send it. In other words, I'm putting that homeless ministry in front of our ministry. Why? Because I know God. I know God will provide. Just like when you give, I know God provides for you. I know he does. I mean, there's only one place in the Bible God says, prove me. Only one place he says, I dare you. And that's in Malachi 4:5. Is that it? I think I did that wrong. 5:3, 3:5. I get mixed up. Prove me now herewith, if I will not open the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing and not be room enough to receive. So if we don't get any more support, I project that by Monday we will be in the red. But I believe we will. I believe God will speak to the hearts of people that he has blessed, that he wants to bless more, and we will get what we need to keep going. God bless you. If you want to be on the end of making money, gold and silver is preserving your money. If you want to be on the end of making money, then you might want to call prophecyclubcrypto.com or actually go to it or call that number at the bottom right corner. Ask them about crypto if you're in the position where you can make money. If you don't want to lose your life's savings, if you have an IRA or a 401k, the thing to do is call 800-200-GOLD. 800-200-GOLD. These folks are Christians, and they specialize in helping people not lose their life savings in the event of a stock market crash and things like that. Look, most of the 401ks, most of the IRAs are in paper, backed by paper, and as Lindsey Williams says, if it's in paper, it's worth the paper it's written on. You can lose it all. 1-800-200-GOLD. 800-200-GOLD. Hey, give them a call. Doesn't hurt. Doesn't cost you anything. See if they can give you some good advice.